This is Singapore, the lion city without lions. The name Singapore or Singapura comes from the Malay words Singa for lion and Pura for city. Why is it named this way? The answer should be straightforward, but in reality, the origin of the name is still shrouded in mystery. Wait, isn't Singapore named by Sang Nila Utama? Well, it appears to be more complex than that. The renowned tale of Singapore went briefly like this. On a nice fine day in the 13th century, Sang Nila Utama, a prince from Palembang, and his followers were hunting in Bintan. Amidst the hunt, Sang Nila Utama caught sight of the beautiful white shore across the sea and decided to travel there. The group landed on Temasek. There, they saw a strange animal. It moved fast, had a red body, black head, and white breast, and was bigger than a goat. No one knew what it was, and one of the subjects, the Muang Luboar Duan, stood out and said, "I have heard that in ancient times, it was a lion that had that appearance. I think what we saw must have been a lion." And hence, Sang Nila Utama clapped his hands, settled down, and renamed the place Singapura, also translated to Lion City. End of story? Not quite. Sang Nila Utama and his followers missed one essential thing. Singapore did not have lions. Lions lived in the open, dry habitat of savannas and not the humid and dense forest in Southeast Asia. Also, in what world does a lion have a red body and a black head? Well, one widely accepted explanation was that the group was simply mistaken. The creature was probably a native animal, such as the Malayan tigers that roamed early Singapore. However, historians have argued that since tigers are native to the region, it was almost impossible for Sang Nila Utama or his followers to mistake a tiger for a lion. So what then? Another explanation was that the creature was never meant to be a real animal. The red body, black head, and white breast points to the mythical beast Jannigi that guarded gold mines in the folklore of West Sumatra. It is still part of the Minangkabau culture today, where their red hair is kept as family heirlooms. Although realistically speaking, the red hair is most probably from an orangutan. But this isn't the end. Some scholars overthrow the story entirely. Why, you ask? Well, it has to do with the source of the story, the Sejarah Melayu, or Malay Annals. The book consisted of stories about medieval Malay rulers and their courts, but it also served several purposes, one of which was to legitimize the ruler's reign through these stories. In fact, there are numerous versions of the Malay Annals, many of which features modifications that seem to be shaped by a range of political objectives. As a result, scholars believe that the Malay Annals is not an objective record of events, thus casting doubt on the story of Sang Nila Utama itself. Alright, so what are the alternate theories then? Well, one interesting story of the origins of Singapore's name is constructed through Portuguese records. The story takes place in Palembang, the center of the Majapahit Empire, now part of Indonesia, around 1390. Our main character, Parameswara, was a tribal chief there. One day, he decided to mount a simhasana, a lion throne reserved for kings. He also staged a religious ceremony of consecration as a god king, challenging the Majapahit's claim over their ancestor, the Srivijaya Empire. Obviously, the people were upset and chased him out of Palembang. He first fled to Bintan and got the support of neighboring Islam chiefs. Then, he was granted asylum by the chief of Temasek. And get this, he then murdered the chief and took over the throne. To assert his claim to the island, Parameswara decided to rename it. And remember the lion throne in Palembang? It was believed that he renamed island Singapura, aka the Lion City, to signify that he was re-establishing the lion throne. If you were observant, you might have noticed something strange. The routes taken by Parameswara magically lined up with that taken by Sang Nila Utama. They both came from Palembang, landed on Bantan, and finally reached Singapore or Temasek. And it's not a coincidence. Some historians believe that Sang Nila Utama, or Sri Tri Buana in the Malay Annals, is the same person as Parameswara. They go even further to say that the stories might have been invented to quote-unquote cover up the inglorious Palembang history and shore up Parameswara's reputation. Take note of the word some here. The interpretation and theories of this history is just, quite frankly, endless. Some say that Parameswara was a descendant of Sri Tri Buana. Some say they are the same person, while others say that Parameswara was instead another person named Iskandar. It's a mess that historians are still struggling to clear right now. In the end, the origin of Singapore's name is still something that is widely debated upon. Hopefully, we will get an answer somewhere down the line, but for now, it's best to keep the story closed. And which version of the story do you believe in? The adventure of Sang Nila Utama or the rebellious Parameswara? Leave a comment below to discuss, and that's it. Bye bye!